Today's podcast is brought to you by Our City Coffee. The coffee Timmy and I created for two reasons. One, to deliver great coffee. Two, to give back to people in the city of Los Angeles. And if you're on board with those things and would like to purchase, go to ourcitycoffee.com. Use the code BS for 15% off. Again, that's ourcitycoffee.com. Code BS. We've been getting a bunch of new listeners lately, and we appreciate that, but we'd love to hear from you. Hit us up on social media, tag us in your Instagram stories, or tweet at us, or Facebook. We're at Business and BS on all social platforms. Today on the podcast, we've got Stefan from NanoCraft CBD. This is part 2 of our mini-series with the Fit Expo. Are you planning to go to the Fit Expo? Are you? We'll be there. If you're going to go, you might as well save a few bucks. Use the code CurranLA19 at thefitexpo.com and you save 10 bucks. Again, that's CurranLA19 at thefitexpo.com. This one was cool. We were able to go to the brand new warehouse that they just moved into a couple days ago, like literally a handful of days ago, and sit down in their studio. Really cool setup. They also just launched last year. So we talked about how things are going, how they've started branding, marketing, how they're creating their partnerships, how they're working with influencers, why they decided to make the Fit Expo the first event they go to, and a whole school of other things. The world of CBD is a crazy, crazy world, and we got to dig deep into that on this episode. We thank you for your time and hope you enjoy. We are live here at the Nano CBD warehouse headquarters. Stefan.
Hi, nice to meet you guys.
Yes.
Nice to meet you. So he tells us he moved in Monday. You can kind of see it in the back if you're watching. They got this cool ass car. They got the whole setup back there. They got a disco ball behind where the camera
Definitely
is.
one of the cooler warehouse offices we've seen.
Yeah, you got to set the mood, you know?
Yes.
Pool table. You know what you need is a ping pong table. That's been our jam.
We actually have two.
Do you?
Yeah,
Where?
they're in the back. One right there.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
One on
Okay.
the second pool table.
Behind the car.
Yeah, you got to have some fun.
We've got a heated brother slash company ping pong. I don't know what do you call it? Not a series, but
I guess
an ongoing series where
Yeah.
I'm dominating.
He's dominating me right now.
We'll find out after this, huh?
All right, let's
Deal.
do it.
See who the winner
Sold.
in San Diego is.
Sold.
The NanoCraft headquarters.
Right.
Cool. So NanoCraft, you said you started technically started the business in October?
Yeah, so May of 2017 is when we formed the company.
Okay.
But my partner Todd and I, we've been working on this for a few years.
Yeah.
You know, being such a new industry, there's a lot of pitfalls we ran through, a lot of
Sure.
trial and error. So not wasted, but there was definitely about a year that was all learning lessons for both of us.
Yeah.
You know, because we had a mission to really find the highest quality products, the highest quality manufacturers, everything that we could do. We didn't want to just slap a label on something like a lot of other companies.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to make sure everything from the origin of the hemp to our final product to the consumer was just absolutely as best as we can do.
That's interesting. And give us some more background. So, like, why CBD? Why'd you get into this in the first place?
Well, that's a good question. So I lived in LA before this, and you know, my partner. I didn't like LA at the time. No offense.
There's a lot of reasons to not
Yeah.
like it, although there's a bunch to like it.
Exactly. So my partner and I got together. At the time, I had a luxury luggage company. I was pursuing something else, and I was kind of just stagnant, trying to figure out what my next move was. And you know, my partner and I, we just talked about. We both are pretty passionate about helping other people, and we saw the emerging market in the CBD space, and we just, you know, we like the idea of how it helps people. It's a little bit different, and it's a different market than, you know, THC products. We're not all about, you know, smoking weed, getting high. Not that we're against it, but it's just not what we both live healthy lifestyles. We both, you know, work out every day. We surf. We play sports. And so the combination between the both of, you know, helping people and being able to, you know, be a part of an emerging market that we know would make it an impact was the final straw for us. So,
Sure. Had you used other CBD products and with anything you've done, or just like you saw the market, like, all right, let's get more information on this stuff?
well, originally I saw the market. I wasn't too familiar. You know, I had heard about it. I had tested it here and there. You know, for me, I don't have severe ailments other than, you know, working out, being sore, some restless sleep sometimes. So in helping and using these products, we noticed a difference, and I really like the more research that's being done, and there's so many different studies being done right now, the more information is coming out about how beneficial it is across a lot of different ailments.
Yeah.
You know, we run a Facebook group also that has, you know, 110,000 members, and
Wow.
the amount of ailments that people have. I mean, I think there's about 90 to 100 different ailments that people use CBD for. So it's really a wide variety of things.
That's so wild. So as far as when you said you want to get the best products, best hemp, are you guys local to here where you work with the products, or is it California in general?
We found that our hemp is derived from Colorado. So we found that the sourcing there, they're a little bit more advanced with their, with this being more friendly to, cannabis and marijuana, et cetera. So the hemp farms up there, we found, we have one of the top hemp farms in the country, if not the top, that we derive our products from. We found the source from there is a lot better.
It's interesting. How do you even find that out?
1 year of trial and error.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it literally was, okay, well, how do we start a business? Okay, well, it's just one step after another. It's tackling one thing at a time, Okay, we need to find a name. That was the first thing. Okay, name. Now what do we want our brand to look like? Branding, website. So it's really figuring out what our vision was, what we wanted to create, and then from there, building it. So every step that we went along the way, it was just a new adventure, a new learning process. So yeah, exactly. We get on the internet, we get on the horn, we call people we know, and just basically keep doing that until we find what works for us.
Sure.
And I was say we went through a lot of different manufacturers and providers, and it just didn't work out. I mean, anything that kind of threw us off, or maybe it was bad communication, maybe it was just the product or quality wasn't quite as good as we wanted, and then ultimately it just brought us to where we're at right now. So it was worth the wait in hindsight.
Sure. I'm obviously, you start any business, you're gonna have issues. It's gonna be tough. You're gonna go through some trial and error. But with CBD specifically, there's all those legal issues and rules. How different do you think it is with a CBD company as if you just came out with like a menthol rub type product?
Significantly different. One of the main factors is
welcome the dog. What's the dog's name?
Jax.
Jax. What's up, Jax? Shout out, Jax. Go ahead.
One of the main factors is marketing and advertising. We can't advertise on any social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Google. So that's one of the main drivers of sales for a lot of big corporations, big companies. And if you're starting out, that's pretty much the one derivative of selling products. So without that, on top of that, merchant processing, we had to pay up to 6.8% per transaction just because of CBD. So we got penalized by that.
From oh my gosh,
yeah,
I haven't
so
heard
wild,
that. That is crazy.
And even since Trump signed the Farm Bill, and now there's zero regulations on it federally. Even companies like Facebook, we still are not allowed to advertise on there. So while we have had many successes reaching out to different companies and getting creative with our marketing strategy, having social media as a platform to advertise your products, I mean, that's one of the number one drivers of sales. So that's been the biggest impact.
How do you do that then? How do you strategically do that?
I can't tell you. No, we
don't give us the golden nuggets. Yeah.
No, it's just thinking outside the box. It's reaching out to different.
Can you pull that a little closer?
Yeah, it's thinking outside the box. It's reaching out to different publications, different areas of life that you would never imagine reaching out to. It's just you just got to get creative. Mm-hmm. So for us, we worked with different platforms such as Uncrate, the Chive, and other platforms that we're currently in contract with. So we're constantly evolving and expanding. And what we found is that people love our product. They love CBD. They love what it represents. And the more knowledge that people get about it, the better response that we're getting.
Yeah. It is crazy. So we didn't mention this earlier. We did the MMA award show this past year.
That's cool.
And it was on Fox Sports.
We did the sales behind it.
Yeah, and there were a lot of digital promotion type stuff.
Yeah.
And there was a couple of CBD companies that came in and said, "Hey, we want to sponsor it. We want to do this, and that." And the founder was completely against it, and they weren't allowed to advertise on Fox Sports. And there's a gray area where Fox Sports literally came out and said, "You're allowed to do it today, but we might blur it tomorrow." So that's why the companies were kind of on the fence, and we're sitting there this makes no sense at all.
Yeah, it's a little confusing because I think what the main thing is people associate THC and marijuana with CBD and hemp. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. While they're part of the same family, they're completely separate compounds.
Right.
So it's really hard. It's like the poppy flower. It's you can make different things out of that as well, but there's also great things about it. So it's really just kind of educating people. That's the number one thing, education. So when people generally first hear about it, oh, you mean weed? No, we don't mean weed. And that's why for us in the branding and creating the brand is so important to really associate our brand with health, fitness, lifestyle, well-being, because that's what we want. That's what we represent, And like I said, I don't have anything against anybody, but it's just, that's what we wanted to associate with.
Sure, that makes a lot of sense. We've heard that too, because I told you before we started talking out here, is we've worked with, or maybe I was telling you, we've worked with some CBD companies, and we see like the issues that have come up, and even just from an education perspective, like I've had products, and my mom's neck hurts or something, and I was like, hey mom, just rub this on your neck, and she's like, am I going to get high? Like, no mother, you're not going to get high. Put this on your neck and then you feel great. Now she loves it. My dad's an old hippie. He doesn't, if he got it super high, he wouldn't give a damn.
Yeah.
But
should have given it to her and just say, just kidding, you're going to get really
right.
high.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden in her head, she's freaking out.
Yeah.
Freaking out, man.
You are freaking out, man. But I get the education part of it. We had an idea as far as like CBD workaround. Remember that?
I don't know
Your
what you're
thoughts?
talking about.
Sounds illegal.
Cut
From like
cut the
cut
camera.
from like all right, so you can't from your direct account promote a Facebook ad or whatever.
Yes.
But couldn't we, as in like our company Curran Media Co., couldn't we create content with you and then you guys pay us to promote it? That was an idea we had behind.
Yes,
some of the companies.
yes and no. As long as it's not like direct sales to site, I think educational has been seen to be okay. But ultimately, it's up to Facebook. Like you just kind of never know. The decision's out of your hands. So that's actually, we're in the process of doing a video like that. That's just basically educational for people to really understand what CBD is, because once people know, like, there's no reason not to use it. There's no reason not to. Yeah, I mean, all it does is benefit people. And it's crazy to me that it's, but that just shows you like politics, propaganda, all that stuff. The stuff that you have to go through.
It's real.
Because hemp was one of the biggest crops. With our founding fathers in the beginning of the 1900s. Like it was, the $10 bill was made out of hemp. So the fact that it was all of a sudden banished, it just shows you how powerful that propaganda is.
I didn't know that the $10 bill was made of hemp.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
either.
I believe it was like the 1935, and it actually has hemp fields in the background. Huh. And it only got taken over by cotton. I guess was cheaper to produce.
Okay.
So yeah.
Wasn't there something with like newspapers and I don't know. I forget the name of the company. I don't know. Anyway, skip ahead.
All right, skip that one.
No, it was like a guy who was big in newspapers, and he had owned a bunch of newspapers, and he was worried about hemp taking over some of what he was doing. So he started doing all these anti-marijuana articles and like saying it was Mexican and black. So it was anti-marijuana and racist as shit, saying like this is why they're going crazy because of marijuana and the hemp plant. And then that became basically like how everything got banned.
Exactly. Part of the propaganda was, a lot of people were immigrating from Mexico and they were bringing marijuana. That's how it became popular. So they tried to figure out a way to kind of regulate the immigration coming in. That's one of the factors. But other than that, in like the 1920s, it was used, I think, in something like 9% of all medications. Like it was actually like the large pharmaceutical companies actually prescribed cannabis.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so crazy.
Then it gets it's not like it's not like a new trend. No. This has been around far longer than
it was used for thousands of years, and then 80 years ago they're like, no more.
Yeah. Oregon was the first one, right? That legalized it.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure
when they came back. So as far as like the social media play goes, do you foresee any time in the near future where you see like or reading anything or talking to anyone that says Instagram, Facebook, Twitter is going to open it up to promoting?
I would imagine yes. They would be really stupid not to. And there's so much opportunity, there's so much money, and I'm not sure if you've read some of the reports on the CBD business, how it's estimated to be $22 billion by the 2022. So it's a factor. It's a force to be reckoned with. It's not something that's, I think, going to go away anytime soon. So I would say if they're smart, they would. But who knows? Who knows? And once again, it has to do with education. I think the more that people are educated and the more, the better job we can do in educating people, the more lenient and the more they'll understand and respect it and disassociate it with something negative.
Do you can alcohol brands do anything on Instagram? Yeah, they can.
Yeah.
Alcohol.
Oh, yeah.
So alcohol can't and CBD cannot?
Yeah.
God, that's wild.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so as far as like branding specifically with you guys, why'd you decide to go the route you're going? With like
my background is design, and I know my partner is passionate about design as well. So we knew ultimately we're not going to slap something on here. Like every single detail that we like, everything that we do, every detail is thought of. There's not any part of part of the process that we do that's not thought of and looked over and over and over. We spent hours and hours and days and weeks on creative processes. We have a phenomenal creative director. She does a great job with all the graphic design with us, and between all of our minds put together, we kind of sit down and just go one product at a time, and we get ideas and we just we execute.
How do you come up with your product line then? Okay, so you have your partners, you have everything in place. Like, obviously right in front of us, if you're watching the YouTube, you can see there's 7 different products in front of us. How do you guys go about picking which products to launch with and to roll out?
Well, number one, what benefits people the most? Right now I think it's about 39% of the entire CBD market are drops and tinctures. So out of that market, we figured, we definitely want to add a drop. So our twist on it, number one, is we nano amplify the CBD oil, which means we break it down into a smaller compound that is more bioavailable to the body. So essentially you're not wasting CBD. So we created the products around that, and then we're health and wellness. So how do we make people's days better?
Sure.
How do we make our green superfood? It's infused with all these different plants, materials, and things that are beneficial to the body, and we infuse CBD with them. So it's not necessarily that we are reinventing the wheel. We're the first people to come out with that green superfood.
I was going to ask you. I haven't seen that.
Yeah, we're the first people to come up with that. And I think anything healthy, like how can we benefit you, like from the when you wake up to go to bed? How can we benefit your life? So topicals really help people with ailments, sore muscles, arthritis. I mean, there's so many different applications for that. And I think that's a good introduction to CBD also, because a lot of people that are afraid to ingest it or may still associate it, maybe try some topicals, something that that actually really helps, and they can ease their way into it. So I think in designing our products, it's really coming up with products that'll benefit people from when they wake up to when they go to bed. Performance-driven products that are high quality.
Gotcha. And you're focused on like the health and fitness kind of aspects. Do you have ambassadors that you've lined up, or how have you been working with like influencers in that space?
Yes, we've got about 30 ambassadors now.
Cool.
And aside from that, we just we like to kind of compare ourselves to our mission and our goals to be like kind of like the Nike of CBD. Okay. So we want to implement our CBDs in multiple different sports. So we just signed a team of athletes in the surf community. Like we have Mason Ho, Eli Olsen, Sheldon Paishan. And we just signed up a new professional surfer girl actually today. So we're building up the team one industry at a time. We're going to expand into snowboarding, tennis, golf. Like we really want to hit these different sports and become essentially the Nike of CBD.
I like it. I haven't heard anybody talk about that. I like that a lot.
Even just to say Nike of CBD.
The Nike
I
CBD,
just like Nike.
and especially you have a design background, so like that, I'm sure is intriguing to you. Yeah,
it's really intriguing.
Nike does,
and to be able to. I felt like, when I had my luggage company living in LA, there was still kind of an emptiness to it. I don't know. I can't really explain it. It just didn't feel 100% right at the time, whereas this feels just 100% right. We create products that we use. We are passionate about it. We know that it benefits people, and we tie into, every product that we sell, $1 we donate to underprivileged children. So we work with Child Hunger Sucks here in San Diego and the Malleola Foundation. I think they're based out of Laguna, but they do incredible things for these children. So we're really passionate about writing that check every month and being able to show that CBD can be something that can be beneficial, and that our company is one that cares about people and cares about giving back.
That's great. I like that.
Is with education with parents and kids, so that's another story. How I know you have like the NanoCraft kids, and obviously you're giving back in that world. How different do you have to communicate that education of like kids versus mom and dad?
Well, I mean, we're not necessarily giving the CBD to kids. We're giving them money.
Sure, but like if I'm as a parent and my kid has, I mean, of course there's like clear ones like epilepsy and yada yada where people know that CBD. But my kid, let's say they have a big scar on their leg or something from playing outside. Okay. And putting it on, like, do you try to educate the parent on like it's okay for kids, or is it not okay?
Yes, no, it is 100%. I think all the studies that are being done right now. I mean, there's I think over like 50 studies clinical medical studies being done right now. I know that there's been studies on ADHD where they've showed significant improvement with using CBD. Autism, I think it's in Jerusalem they have a university out there. They're like almost at the forefront of CBD for autism, and they showed I think 80% success rate for kids with autism.
God, isn't that wild?
Jesus.
Yeah, so it definitely is a force to be reckoned with. I feel like for us it's just education. Like as far as like prescribing something for your kids, like I kind of want to be careful about that. We talk about that, but 100%, and we've seen benefits. I mean, our reviews on our site, like reading these every day about, oh my gosh, my kid, my teachers have noticed a difference. So we've seen parents do that and had great success with it.
Jeez.
So-
Do you almost feel like it's like the gold rush where like everyone, like a lot of people are getting into CBD, but no one owns this space. Like everyone, and there's different niches that people can own. And
Yeah.
specifically, do you kind of feel like that way?
Yes and no. I mean, there are a few players that have been around for a while, and I think that, they're now publicly traded companies.
Sure.
But I feel like, everyone's making CBD. They're slapping labeled CBD, CBD, CBD. And so what's going to happen, I think, is the market's going to evolve, and it's going to start evolving in different niches. And that's why we really focused on this health, fitness, and lifestyle niche, because I think that ultimately that's what's going to separate us, our branding, our products, between us and everyone else. That's just slapping a logo on a white labeled product.
Yeah.
So...
I thought you were going to go different. I would be asking that. I saw something interesting today on Twitter. Heineken is trying to trademark themselves as the official beer of soccer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Sounds expensive.
But it doesn't. Well, it doesn't mean anything of soccer. Like nobody owns soccer.
Yeah.
I don't know if they can actually do it, but I know they're trying to do it. So it's like
Well,
the
they
same
would only
thing.
do it in the United States because it's football.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, I think just like most things, if the price is right, it can be done.
Yeah.
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 I wonder how that'll go. That's interesting. So Fit Expo coming up 2 weeks.
Fit Expo, we're super excited about the show.
Yeah. If first Expo. Period. I know you guys said you were trying to work on the setup back here.
Yeah, we're setting up our booth, and we're like, about an hour and a half into it, and we're like, yeah, we'll just have them set it up for us.
Right. Yeah.
We're gonna go ahead and scratch that.
Yeah. And
So what brought you in? Everything's been online thus far. Now you want to
Yeah.
do like exhibits and conventions and expos and stuff. Talk about that.
Well, for us, it was kind of like getting to know the business, getting to know the products, getting to know the response. And once we kind of, got the hang of everything and the response from people, we realized we want to bring it to people in all different avenues. We want to, and also take in mind, with the bill passing, a lot more stores are open to it. So originally online, in certain stores we're carrying it, but now it's a lot more accepted.
Yeah.
So we want to expand. We want to just blow this thing up and share our mission and give as much. The more we sell, the more we can give back, and it's a win-win for us.
Yeah. Now you said there's a dozen or however many other CBD companies will be there.
I
At the
think
Fit
so.
Expo?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we, my partner and I, were walking around the Fit Expo a couple of years ago. There was no CBD at all. And what a great consumer show. I mean, tons of people, lots of actions. Probably the most
Crazy.
exciting show I've ever been to.
Yeah.
So we
agreed.
kind of both agreed that this was our first show that we wanted to kind of make a footprint, especially since it promotes health and fit. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So what do you guys think is like the strategy going into the expo? Like you said, you went last year.
No one else will listen to this, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, not before the event. Yeah.
In separating, well, I think automatically people are going to be intrigued by CBD,
Yeah.
and I think our branding, the way we do things, separates ourselves. So there's not much to say other than, look at our product, look at our branding, and then from there, I think you kind of make the decision like, wow, this is pretty cool. I'm attracted to this. Just like, why do you choose Adidas or Nike over any other? It's just,
Sure.
I think it's the company, what they represent. And it's our first show. I think for us, we're just going to continue to implement everything that we do, which is quality and passion and giving back. And I think we just want to have as much fun as possible.
Yeah.
It's easy to do that there too. The energy is going to be
Yeah.
for 48 hours. We know people who are like set up booths and they're like, after the 48 hours, they're like, all right, let's go party Sunday night. And by Sunday night, they're just like, they're dead.
I think that's exactly what we said, that on Sunday, that's one of the reasons why we didn't want to dismantle. It's like, Sunday we're going big.
Yeah.
We're
No,
going
you
big on
definitely don't
Sunday.
want to be there at like 6 o'clock. Like, oh, we got to take this down now. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. It's we've done those before. Like we're actually at the Fit Expo. We've had like our own booth for some other stuff we've done in the past or been with other people, and you're dead after 8-hour
your
days.
Feet, your
Oh yeah,
stimuli, the whole
talking
stimulation
the
the
same
whole time.
spiel.
Yeah.
It's
Over and over again.
It's the same spiel, but like you have to smile and be different to me, or be happy to see me every time, me and the next person. Because if you come up and the one time you're like, hey, how you doing? Throw me some card or whatever, and then I'm like, oh, that guy's an asshole.
Yeah.
Even though
Yeah.
like you just did it to 10,000 other people, you were super cool. You have that one person. It's like, damn, you just
Yeah.
ruined an experience.
And
for me.
it boils down to, I think, connection. I think definitely in today's society, like with mobile devices and things, there's definitely, and myself included, there's definitely a gap between connection between people and looking down on your phone. So I think the opportunity to actually connect with people and to really listen to like what's up with this person, like what's their life all about, what are they looking for, and I think connection you can do with anybody. It's just different approaches to connection. So I think just recognizing who we're speaking with and being able to relate to them, and if we don't, then that's fine, and just have fun.
Yeah,
Sure.
definitely. Are you guys planning on selling product at the show?
Well, they put a regulation on it, so I think that we're able to sell topical creams,
Okay.
but we can't sell ingestibles. So, which I still, since the law passed, there's no real reason not to. But so we will be selling topicals, and we'll have our empty products there just so people can see them. But you'll be able to order them online right at the booth.
Okay.
Cool.
So you have like an iPad or something where they could order?
Yeah, we'll have an iPad set up. We'll have all that set up so we can basically take orders as we go. We'll have.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, we've got about.
There's orders coming in right now.
Yeah, exactly.
People calling.
Exactly.
I think that's the fax machine in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any plan to do something where you correlate like a social play with being there, like whether it's a giveaway or what are you going to do, Instagram live play or whatever?
We're doing giveaways. We're going to do 2-year supplies of CBD each
Ooh.
day. So, we have a couple, promo models walking around that they're going to be taking information, handing out flyers. And
walking around like at your booth or walking around the expo?
Both, everywhere.
That's the move.
Everywhere.
That is the move.
Not
It's
that,
a good idea.
Not that I don't know that they love that. Maybe we just
I don't know.
I don't know either
That's
way.
definitely the move
But
that I would do.
That is the move.
Yeah.
I remember last year Quest was doing that with their cookies.
Yep.
And they were walking around. They had a new something. Maybe it wasn't a cookie. Maybe it was a snack booth, whatever. But they were walking
They all
around
taste
handing
like
it.
cookies.
Yeah, right. They were walking around handing them out to people everywhere. So instead of having to sit in that line to get whatever you're going to get, because they always have a huge line, a huge booth, you could just see a person and grab a thing on the way to go.
So it'll be like raffle? Someone's gonna win?
So, to qualify, you have to enter your email, you follow us on social media, and then at the end, we're just going to go through and just pick someone
Why the
random
hell
and
not?
then your
great.
supply. So they can mix and match whatever products they want
Yeah.
that are catered to them. And yeah.
That's great.
You know, I did this one time. We were in the New York Marathon for a brand, a running brand that we worked with a couple years ago. And one thing I thought helped a ton of getting people to the booth too is I sat there and because we do marketing, social, yada yada, and we were running the actual Instagram account. So I would just go on the hashtag of NYC Marathon, and everyone was going to the expo before because you had to actually get your whatever you call it, your number and your bib. There you go. That's the word I was looking for.
Run life, man.
Yeah. Right. So you had to get your bib. So I would just go on the hashtag and I would talk to them like, hey, good luck tomorrow. Come say hi to us. Or, hey, we're giving away a free pair of socks or whatever. I don't remember exactly what we did.
Yeah, I think
but
it was a free pair of socks.
we got so many people that came through because we were just sitting there and I was the one who was dedicated to just talking to them on Instagram as they're saying, hey, I'm here anyway.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many different creative marketing ideas. And I think that once we kind of get a feel of what's going on, I mean, like I said, it just goes back to just having fun, getting creative, and just doing our thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And you guys have been to those things before, you said too.
Yeah.
You see like what really cool brands do, and then you see what unsuccessful brands do at any sort of event like that where they're just chilling.
Yeah, exactly. And like when I look at a brand, like there's always brands that separate themselves from other brands. And you can go into any industry and you're like, oh, that's the brand that I want to be associated with. And I think everyone has their different styles, their different things that they're attracted to. But ultimately, I think it's not just one thing. It's the whole brand. It's the people that are working there. It's the products. It's everything that kind of separates. And that's what attracts us to different things.
For sure. For sure. Timmy?
Yeah. What's on the agenda? Any other events planned this year? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I want to be as busy as possible. I mean, we're pretty much here working every day, all day, and just kind of creatively thinking on what shows we want to do, what different sports. Now that we have our athletes kind of picked out for surf industry, we want to kind of expand into different industries. And from there, there's different trade shows. And I think it's just the beginning. This year is going to be massive for us, and we're super excited about it. And, just keep creating opportunities, doing what we're doing. And I think we're going to do really well.
Yeah.
Cool.
You said you had a lot of trial and error. What do you think was the biggest mistake you guys made?
I don't consider anything a mistake. I consider them all learning lessons.
Sure, yeah.
So it's almost equal. I mean, the biggest learning lesson was, to make a decision to pull out of working with a company that we could potentially have lost a lot of money with.
Damn, yeah.
Let's see what else. I don't know. It's just keep. I mean, and this sounds kind of cliche, but just keep believing that it's gonna work and it's gonna happen. You just got to keep pushing. Like if something knocks you down, you just got to keep pushing. And there's been days where I've been very discouraged, and I know my partner Todd has also. We've just been like freaking out, like what's gonna happen? Is this are we making the right move? And we literally put every single dollar of in our life into this business, and come, just recently about, I don't know, 3 months ago when we started first selling product, like we were all in. We're like, what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Like, hey man, well, if worst comes to worst, you can crash with me,
Sure, hell yeah.
Yeah. So it's been definitely a grind, but that's what makes it worthwhile. I think in the end, it's enjoying the process, and it really is about the journey. Because I think that, we have goals and different things, but anytime I've ever reached a goal, I've kind of like, okay, well, what's next? There's always something next.
Yeah.
So to really sit back and just think about what we've accomplished so far and appreciate every day and just keep moving. So
Cool, man. That's the move.
Yeah.
Well, good luck. We are at 16 days out.
Is that what we are? What's
Yeah.
today?
Actually, by the time we post this, we'll be 13 days out. 13 days out from
Official
the expo.
countdown has begun.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, good luck. Appreciate you sitting down with us.
Yeah.
We'll see you soon.
Thank you
Soon.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Business and BS podcast, but don't leave. Don't do it. Not yet. I'm going to ask one favor of you. Could you please subscribe, rate, comment, whether you're on YouTube, iTunes, wherever you are. We'd really appreciate it. Obviously, it helps get the word out about the podcast. Thank you. We'd also love your support with our coffee company, ourcitycoffee.com. Use the code BS. You get 15% off. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.